Well, it's Super Saturday at the IPL because you've got four very good teams playing potentially two really cracker matches. I'm Gaurav Kapur on Cricbuzz Live. Would like to welcome you. Thank you for joining us. We have Mr. Joy Bhattacharjya, Mr. Zaheer Khan here with us. Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Thank you for coming back.
KKR
का match हो तो.
Exactly. No, but I had so much fun watching you guys on TV, on the Cricbuzz, that I was wondering whether to come back or just sit back and relax and watch my computer screen.
No, wait. You can come here and then after this you can watch the show again.
That is also
right?
true.
That's the beauty of the internet, baby. It's the beauty of the internet. Let me tell you what's happening in the first match. It is indeed Kolkata Knight Riders who are hosting Kings 11 Punjab. Ashwin won the toss and did not decide to bat first this time. They've had a couple of good games doing that, but said nope. Today they will chase. What do you think about that decision, Zach?
It's a good decision, I think. All the teams we've seen prefer to bowl first, and by that logic, I think it's a good call. It's an afternoon game as well. So if at all any assistance to spinners is going to be in the early part, so from that point of view, also it's a good call to make. By evening, wicket will get better for sure, as we know that KKR's strength is spin. So by that logic, they're thinking that okay. We can negate with that. Second thing, as always, once you know what kind of target you have, you can bat accordingly. So that certainly is been the trend, and that's what we've seen today as well.
Another reason, of course, is that Gayle doesn't really wake up till 4 o'clock, right?
Exactly what
he's got a bad second.
I was watching very carefully when he got off the bus and he looked as if he was rubbing his eyes. So by 6 o'clock he would have woken up. 5:36. Okay, now it's time to get ready. And
these are not his peak hours of operation for sure. Not for Gayle.
The other thing is I'm really happy because 2 days back in Kolkata we had a really severe gale. So normally Kolkata has one big gale in April. Okay. So
KKR fans can be happy now. This is done. Let's have a look at the playing 11 for both teams. We of course have KKR who are on top. You have Kings 11 Punjab who are also part of that traffic jam on top. But Dinesh Karthik of course saying, hey listen, if it ain't broke, I ain't going to fix it. This 11 has worked for them. They've kept that 11, and Zach, there's no surprise, right?
When you're winning, that cushion is always there. You don't have to tinker too much with the playing 11, and we were expecting this. I think unless it's a forced change, you need not change the side, and the winning momentum matters. And when the same kind of 11 players taking the field most of the times, your roles are also pretty much defined. You don't have to go on talking about the strategies and all that. Pretty much it's settled. The batting lineup is also settled. The bowling plans are settled. So you will certainly see KKR starting with the spinners for sure. For be it Gayle or anyone batting, I think they will stick to the plan because Piyush Chawla has been bowling those 2 overs in the first 6. So when they are bowling, you will again see spin early on.
There's also the only concern possibly for Kolkata Knight Riders is the form or lack of form of Chris Lynn. Otherwise, all the boxes are being ticked.
Yeah, and I mean the big worry for them would be that if they look at their larder of the players they have left, they don't really have what you call a specialist batsman. I mean, the specialist international batsman. I mean, Robin is the only other guy who ticks that box really of a specialist batsman, and maybe Dinesh. Of course, Dinesh was also a keeper. But that's the one thing because if he doesn't do well, they'll have to shuffle the order. They can't really. They don't have a like for like replacement.
There's a Cameron
Delport, who's a really useful player, but he actually bats slightly further down the order. So then they would have to do what you think would be a good idea. Maybe getting Shubman Gill to open, moving him back. Shubman Gill may benefit from the extra form up front, and especially if he's batting with a Narine or with a Robin, there won't be that much pressure because both of these people are releasing early, doing well. So that's the option.
So that's probably the only question mark there for the Kolkata Knight Riders. Rest, they're checking their boxes. People like Nitish Rana putting their hand up. Shubham Mavi has been bowling well. Well, let's move to Kings 11 Punjab, who've also been checking a lot of boxes, haven't they, in the last few games. Mohit Sharma went for a lot of runs in the previous game. That chase with Sunrisers Hyderabad. They've got Ankit Rajput in his place. Ankit Rajput knows the Eden Gardens, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's played here the last couple of years. He knows this pitch very well, and also I'm looking forward to seeing my favorite player, Mayank Agarwal. Because Mayank Agarwal, for me,
What's the situation?
he's like
Something is coming.
No, Mayank Agarwal is like Cinderella. Whenever I see him, I think of Cinderella, because every time he promises beautiful looking night. Arey 12 baj ke ja raha hu. 20 run karke bhag gaya. You know, every time you look at Mayank Agarwal, you see his form. He's looking perfect. And just when you're going to say, okay, now he's a big one, 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock.
He's gone.
So good thing the match finishes by 11:30. Yeah. So even if they bat second, it's fine, right? In a night game.
Maybe nowadays it's an afternoon game. Maybe we might see Mayank
That
Agarwal.
pressure seems to be off now because of KL Rahul and Chris Gayle both. I think. You know?
And Karun Nair.
Yeah. So if you get that start, he's batting ahead of Karun for sure. The one person who I'm really looking forward to, especially for this game, is Aaron Finch. You know, because there were some question marks on whether he's going to play in the playing 11 or no. Especially, you know, when you have someone like Stoinis and your you know, he's knocking on the door.
Yeah. And Stoinis
he's going to create that healthy competition among
because he bowls,
Kings 11
right?
camp. Yeah. So the interesting thing will be to look for is you know how long Kings 11 is going to persist with Aaron Finch, because he's a match winner.
Yeah.
You know, it's always a very hard call to take, but their bowling has not been firing. So you know, you've seen that one change which is in the bowling department.
Yeah.
Mohit Sharma going out, making way for Ankit Rajput. So if this also doesn't work, then they will be thinking on those lines, because mind you, Stoinis has started this IPL by playing early games. So I think, you know, by that point of view, you know, it'll be interesting. The pressure will be on Aaron Finch, and he'll be eager, because he's a great asset to have. You know, if he gets going, then that Kings 11 side is going to look very threatening going forward in the tournament.
Of course, talking about match winners, they've got Chris Gayle, who has won consecutive Man of the Match awards, and I'm sure as somebody that KKR is looking at a lot, saying, one second, first of all, he left us 7 years ago. 7 साल से कितना बदला ले रहा है, लेता जाएगा. He really likes playing against KKR, Joy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So, have a look at his numbers against KKR. There you go. He's got 150 strike rate, almost a 50 average, 100, 3 50s, and plenty of catching practice for the spectators.
Yeah, absolutely. The first match he smashed us.
Yeah.
And he came back after, you know, they were 1-3, and he came back into the IPL as a replacement for Dirk Nannes and just finished it off. But I'll be very interested to see his record 2 years later against RCB.
Yeah.
Because I've been hearing that the one match that he really wanted to play was RCB in RCB.
But fair enough. I mean, there is that sort of revenge thing that's in you. It's only human, right? It's like, how dare you drop me?
And I really have this theory, because, you know, a lot of people have saying that, you know, we've been saying that Chris Gayle is not the right kind of player, and, you know, he's come back and look how he's proved us wrong. And my theory is that if you had left him in RCB, he wouldn't have been this player this year.
Ooh.
Chris needs a point to prove. He needs something, and he's playing a lot. You can make out with the passion he's playing and saying, I am the IPL, I've saved the IPL. He is in that kind of mood. So that's, you see, motivations come from very different places.
Yeah.
Now, Kings wouldn't be bothered wherever the motivation comes from. As long as he keeps getting the runs he does at the pace he does, it doesn't matter to them. But I think he's very much coming from a point of, let me show you what I'm really about.
There's that saying in Hindi कि आप आम खाइए पेड़ क्यों गिन रहे? Eat the mango. Don't count the trees, man. It don't matter where the motivation comes from. But the motivation has come. KKR has been looking at them, and in fact, their bowling coach Heat Streak had this to say about Chris Gayle.
A lot of people always ask us bowling coaches, what's the plan? Very difficult for us to say, because obviously then he'll find out. So we can't really tell you the exact plan. But look, you know, he's a dangerous player. You know, I think how you start him is very important early on. If you allow someone like Chris to get into his innings and to get some rhythm and confidence, he's a very dangerous player because he's so powerful. You know, he just backs his ability when the ball's in his zone to clear the boundary.
There's one question I've never understood that you ask players and coaches: what is your plan against Gayle? He's not going to answer it.
Exactly.
Please make notes. I will tell you. He's not going to tell you.
Exactly.
Right?
I think even Chris knows what bowlers are going to plan against him. Like usually we've seen over the past as well that if you swing the ball against him early on, you know, he can get out. You know, just like any other batsman. You know, if you get that new ball, shaping away from him.
Sandeep Sharma.
Sandeep Sharma, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, they've Praveen Kumar, they've been consistently bowling well against him initially, and most of the times when Chris was in that kind of form, he used to take time early on. And he's batting differently now, but in the past we've seen that he will see off the new ball, get set, and then go after hard for runs. But that one plan has certainly worked against him, and that certainly is going to be the plan of his streak as well.
You gave us the insight of Jacques Kallis of how KKR used to plan against Gayle.
Yeah, I mean, Jacques was a great believer, and whenever Chris used to come up against us, he used to say, what we need to do is bowl test match lengths to him by exactly that. Pitched up to him, swinging away. What do you start? First few overs of test match, what do you do? Ball swinging away, maybe one or two nipping back, but really movement and good lengths at what you're looking at. That's what they look to do. My only worry is I don't think they have the experience. I mean, Shivam Mavi may not have the experience to give you that kind of length and that kind of swing.
Russell?
A lot of teams have actually bowled off spinner as well against him. But against CSK we saw that he was comfortable playing the off spinner. So he's also over the years now evolved his game. But short ball is certainly an option. And maybe a lot of teams have been opting for third man up and creating that extra fielder, be it long off, long on, or deep square leg. So you have that kind of attacking field. Even if you're not looking to bowl that bouncer, you still show that intent to him that you are going to go after him, bowl those bouncers, and then get him with the ball pitched up. Then at times batsman is a bit late, and at this age you can that reflexes also is always a question mark. So you can be late at times. So that's something which all the bowlers will be keeping note of, and certainly will be planning accordingly.
I mean, you can have third man and fine leg in the ring against Gayle because he's not really sweeping and late cutting a lot, right? Those are not really his.
Also, if you notice, he's not really going from it from here.
Yeah.
So they might, but again, my only worry is that KKR's real experience is in the spin department, not in the pace department. They don't have that experience fast bowler. If Mitch Johnson was here, they would have said test match and keep it, swing it away. Because they don't have that player. I'd be interested in saying you're probably right. They'll probably put spin against him early, or somebody like a Piyush who's a sort of seasoned guy. They'd probably go for something like that simply because of the players they have in hand. Maybe Andre Russell may be an option, but Russell is bowling so well at the death that I don't know whether they'd want to replace him that early.
Didn't bowl in the last match. In fact, they said there could be some issue with his hammy, so maybe they didn't need him, so they didn't play him. We were listening to Heat Streak before. Heat Streak se aata hai Heat Stroke. Why do I bring that up? The 4 o'clock game in Kolkata. Strange segue, but we have to talk about it.
Well played, but how you got it, turned
Heat
it around.
Streak. From Heat
Streak to Heat Stroke. Because there is a danger of that in a 4 p.m. Eden game, isn't there? Because it is brutal out there.
It is brutal out there. It is absolutely brutal, and I feel, as I said, every spectator, if I had a chance, I'd give them a medal as well. Because those guys are getting paid for it. These guys are paying for the privilege of coming out at 4 o'clock.
I'm just saying, instead of giving them a medal, give them an umbrella.
More than heat is the humidity, because you sweat a lot, and that can really cause all these cramps and all that, which we often see on the ground. So it's important that and the trainers and physios, that's their job. They keep reminding players that you have to hydrate well, and that hydration process starts a couple of days prior.
You played the 4 p.m. game last year in Eden.
The first thing I used to see when the schedule used to come out is what are my 4 o'clock games, because I had to prepare accordingly. So in this heat and humidity, you have to prepare actually a couple of days prior. By drinking water, enough water, having enough sports drink and hydrating drinks which are available with the team. That's the only way, I think, and that process needs to start a couple of days prior rather than just waking up a day before the game. You can't start the day saying that okay, today is match day, let me drink some couple of liters of water. Doesn't work that way.
In fact, Zaheer's partner for a lot of the gym fitness stuff he does, Adrian. Adrian actually distributes something, used to distribute to every team member something called a P card. So it actually is a card which has different shades of yellow in it. And you get it in KKR, because what it does is it tells you look at your P and see what color it is.
How dehydrated you are.
How dehydrated you are.
Darker it is, then
chances are you have to see it here, because if you're dehydrated and you try and drink water, then it's no point.
It's too late.
So here's where you see it early, and you actually have to see your P and see Are you dehydrating? Because it's really easy to dehydrate, especially in 4 o'clock games, especially in the IPL. And as teams, especially the 30 plus players and all, this is it's going to start to tell on their health now. You know, especially even teams like CSK and all, they're doing well now. But see the injuries, see them slowing down now because, you know, the brutal schedule is going to catch up with you.
That is the strangest shade card I've ever heard about.
आप घर का पेंटिंग में करते हो इसमें पी का
Slight difference. Slight difference.
I don't understand.
Don't go and pee on your wall now, okay? Don't do that. Don't get ideas from what Joy is saying. He's a trained professional. Don't try this at home. Dinesh Karthik, the captain. We must talk about him. We are all extremely fond of him. He's a great all-round good guy. Good to see him doing well. He copped a bit of flack in the beginning. He also, the team in itself, KKR, copped a bit of flack that it's no good, it's not going to be there. They're there up at near the top of the table. Happy for a guy like DK finishing off games as a batsman and as a captain?
This is DK version 2.0 for sure.
Yeah.
I think, you know, he's a changed cricketer for sure. You know, the way he's approaching the game, he's looking calmer. You know, one thing which used to be associated with DK is he was very hyper. Like, you know, you'll always see him restless, and that's something which he's really worked on. You know, he's really worked on other aspects of the game, which is the mental aspect of the game, and for him it was very important. I think, you know, it was an important part of his game because he had the talent always. You know, he had the ability to score runs, but he somehow was not reaching that peak, and recently what we've been seeing is he's approaching situations differently. He's a lot calmer, he's relaxed, and he's got that sense of belief, I think, in his ability, and because he's stacking up performances, that belief is only going to grow. So that's a good sign for KKR, because you see from game 1 to game 5th now, or 6th, I think they're playing 6th game. He's evolved as a captain as well. You know, in the first couple of games, the bowling changes which he did, you know, he was looking a bit restless, and those calls, the captaincy calls, especially with the bowling changes, were more instinctive rather than logical. And I think he's moving towards that, making those logical calls, which is a good sign for KKR, because when you start making those logical calls as captain under pressure, then it's certainly going to help the team, and it's certainly going to help him win those small situations which can be game-defining moments.
I actually am very happy for KKR for those two reasons, because both those boys are brilliant technically. I mean, Dinesh Karthik and Robin Uttappai. If it's been helped them back, it's been their temperament. And Robin also is in a very calm place. You can make out by the stillness of his head, his shots. Robin not in a good place, and Robin in a good place is very easy to identify. And one thing I think about is they would be learning from the master of Zen, because if you look at temperamentally, the strongest cricketer I've ever seen in my life is Sunil Narine. Completely, utterly unfazed. I mean, unfazed by victory, defeat, that's one level. Unfazed by the fact that his action has been called and we never bowl again, he's still unfazed. I mean, that is a level which, I mean, he has a level of Zen which he's a very strong guy. So you sit with him and you be with him, there's a calmness that comes, and I think both these guys are benefiting from it.
We've also got a bite from Piyush Chawla. In fact, Piyush Chawla, this is from Cricbuzz Unplugged, in fact, and Piyush spoke about DK, the captain. So let's have a look at this.
Well, he's somebody who's very easy to handle with. Like, you can work with him nicely, and maybe I have a comfort level with him because I've played under 19s with him. For India also we have played together, so we share that comfort level. And he's somebody who's ready to do when he's ready to do something different when you go and suggest him. So that comfort level between bowler and the captain is very important. And here he never come and force you to do something which he wants you to do. He let you be you, and he asks you to set up your own field and everything. He never asks you to do something which he wants you to do.
Such an important point there, Zach, for a captain for a bowler rather, to have a comfort level with the captain, and a captain not enforcing his ideas on the bowler.
Very important, because as a bowler, at times you have your instincts, at times you have your own plans against a particular player, and if that plan in the game situation needs to be executed and the situation demands something else, then it's very important for captain to have that kind of confidence in you as a bowler, you know, and that's something which over the years you can build, and unfortunately in IPL scenario there's hardly any time.
Yeah.
So you know, so from that point of view, I think, you know, if you already have that kind of comfort level with the captain, it helps you. Like, you know, as a bowler, if you don't get the kind of field you want, or the kind of plan which you want to execute, if there is a disagreement, you're not going to be happy when you take that take that over or that particular delivery for that plan. And then if that delivery goes for a big shot, then suddenly the pressure is on you, and you are actually not thinking about the game, you're thinking about what has happened in the previous delivery. So that doesn't really help the team. So from that point of view, it's very important that in game situation these differences are sorted. And you should always have a plan or a relationship with captain which usually you come to a common ground. Like, you know, sometimes as a bowler you have to listen to your captain.
Boss hai, sunna padega.
And you have to come to a situation where most of the time the captain is listening to you.
Yeah, you find that balance.
Yeah.
Who did you have, like you played with so many captains, and you know, whether IPL and here, who was most in sync with the bowling attack always?
I think MS always used to give me that freedom. You know, MS would just hand over the ball to me and, you know, say that, okay, you know, whatever you want to do, just set your field. At times you'll ask me to set fields for others as well, other bowlers,
nice.
or help them with the plans. So in terms of giving that freedom on the field, I think MS was right up there. In terms of disagreements and like, you know, ek baar main teri sununga, do baar tu meri sun, like that was always the case with Saurav. I think, you know, Saurav would always have his own plans, and you had to like really convince him to believe in what you want to do. But he would always listen. Like, you know, it's that, like, you know, he will let you do your thing, and if that doesn't succeed, then he will come and tell you that I told you. मैंने बोला था ये नहीं करना है, like that. Now you do what I want you to do. So those kind of equation you
Bengali can't tell you I told you so. फिर मजा क्या है बंगाली बनने का?
Then really, what's the use? Really, then all you've got left is fish and mustard. That's it.
And
you
football.
need that. And football. Sorry, football. So with Dada, always there is plan A, and then straight from, which is the bowlers, and then plan D, which is plan Dada. Right? You jump straight to that. There's no B or C. All right, I'm going to quickly ask the two of you where you think. So we've got KKR over here, who's going to be batting first, of course. The batting lineup been doing well, except Chris Lynn, of course, who needs to get a few runs. Where do you think these guys are going to end up against this Kings 11 bowling attack?
I think it will be a high-scoring game. It will be around 170 plus game. Narine and Lynn is going to open, and for some reason I feel that, you know, it's going to be Lynn's day. So you'll see some fireworks from Lynn at the top of the order.
Nice. Let's see. Big call.
I think it's a 180 wicket. Hopefully. And if
also,
they get that, they should defend it.
Does it play in your mind? You're going, I'm batting first, doesn't matter what I get, there's Gayle. It can play in your mind, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they can't take it to mind, because you've got to do what you've got to do. Because the fact of it is, you could end up getting 220 and Gayle could chase it down. And you just have to.
And when you're batting first, it's very important to assess the condition, assess the wicket, and decide that what kind of total my bowling lineup is going to be able to defend. So that's very important, and KKR has a good bowling lineup. You know, their spinners have been doing well. Their seamers have been stacking up the overs together nicely. So I think, you know, 175 plus they should be able to defend, but they'll have to assess it quickly, because if the wicket is playing beautifully and it's a flat track, then that means all the other equation come into play, which is Gayle, Aaron Finch, KL Rahul, you know, and then from that logic, then you have to score that 200. But you can't start the innings thinking 200. I think, you know, if you're aiming for 170, you can end up scoring 210 as well. But it's very important that your initial overs, you assess the conditions and decide that, okay, you know, this is the total my bowling lineup can defend.
On this ground in 2010, in those days, remember, 200 was not that common. KKR got 200 and Kings chased it. And there was a brilliant innings by Mahela Jayawardene, and then Yuvraj came and got a really big knock in the middle. Yuvraj likes it out here.
Yeah, well, I hope that those old scars have been forgotten by the crowd at Eden Gardens. We just have the joy factor left. We're going to close the show with that. So, what dangerous gifts have you got for us today, Mr. Bhattacharya?
This is, as I said, slightly on the offside question. When the ball is slightly on the offside.
Every day you ask these only.
No.
How is it different?
So Sandeep Lamichhane, I hope I pronounced that right, is the first cricketer from Nepal to play in the IPL. But who is the first player who has represented an associate country to play in the IPL?
Easy, I know this.
That means if there are two in the same season, you got to take the first one, whichever has played first.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know this.
That means there has been two.
Yeah, there were two.
He's given the
They were both from the same country also.
Yeah. Who played first?
Yeah.
Well done, Mr. Kapur.
I know this one.
Mr. Kapur has hit this for a 6.
I know because
I hope KKR bats like you.
one of them is a good friend of mine.
And the answer is already there.
Is also somebody I follow on Twitter and he follows me. That's all I say. I won't say no more. ठीक है, clue दे दिया. Instead of googling, they can.
Well done. Now it's a good.
This is the easiest question.
This really is an easy question.
This
Very
is
easy
so
question.
far, I think this is the easiest question.
You're taunting him now.
I know, yeah.
By the way, I have to tell you, there are people out there who are going, why are you doing this, Zach? GK, don't do this. He's finally given us an easy one. Don't taunt him. The snake will come out tomorrow. Anyway, send us those answers on Twitter. Hashtag CricBuzzLive. That's the hashtag we want you to use. I won't, of course, be giving away the red table, but I do have red shoes today. To go with the, instead of the red table, I may give the red shoes away. It's all red here.
You already given away the laces.
Yeah, the laces are gone already. No laces.
So that is GST se cut gaya.
GST cut gaya is. Okay, we're going to go and see you in about 90 minutes from now. Thank you so much for watching.